Kathia Woods, Cup of Social. Hi, JD. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Talk to me a little bit what it meant for you to have your story told on the big screen, because that is, you're opening yourself up to a lot. With a book, people are sitting at home. On the screen, it is, woo, all your wounds are exposed.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and I definitely had some hesitance about turning it into a movie just because, to your point, you sort of lose control over it. It's a totally different format, and so we definitely felt as a family a little bit weird about it. Got comfortable because we really liked Ron and really liked what he wanted to do with the movie, and I think he brought a lot of empathy and a lot of understanding to the project. But it's been bizarre. We as a family, I think, participated a lot in the sausage making of the process. We looked at the scripts. We were on set, here and there. And it's been just a totally surreal experience. And I think the weirdest part of it, the most powerful emotionally part for us at least, was actually seeing Glenn Close's Mamaw for the first time. They shot most of the movie in outside of Macon, Georgia. And the first time we saw her, I mean, my uncle, my aunt, my mom were sort of unable to speak because she really did look just like Mamaw at a certain period of her life. And it's sort of amazing to have these people who you love and you admire and you wish you could talk to them sort of brought back to life, at least in this sort of weird, Hollywood kind of way.
Also talk about what is it that you want people to take away from, because there are a lot of kids, this idea of a perfect family is one that's great, but it it just exists in the movies, whether you come from a two-parent home or whatever. What do you want young people that are going through a similar situation that you went through to take away from this?
Sure. Well, I think for those who are going through a similar situation, the two things that I hope that people take from it, one is just a feeling that you got to keep, one foot in front of the other. It's not easily, it's very hard. And I've heard from a lot of kids, even in the past couple of weeks, about, very tough circumstances, things that frankly make my life seem like a walk in the park. But you've got to find some way to persevere, because if you do, sometimes you can find that light at the end of the tunnel and you can survive. The other thing that I hope kids take from it, kids who come from similar backgrounds, is just an understanding of their own families. When I was a kid, I was so mad at my mom, at people in my family. Why are we like this? Why is there so much trauma? Why is there so much chaos? And the thing that I've been most gratified by is that a lot of kids have watched this movie and gained some understanding of themselves and their own families. When you put these things in a multi-generational context and you understand where some of these problems come from, it can be easier to understand those people in your life who are good people, but maybe are a little bit complicated. And when you have that understanding, I think it makes it a little bit easier to actually have a better relationship with them. And so I hope that a lot of people who maybe aren't on speaking terms or don't have the best relationships with complicated people in their life are able to gain some empathy for them.
And lastly, for you, what has this journey taught you about yourself? Because, sometimes we are so fixated on our end game that we don't realize that life really is a journey, and that you go through things, no matter how uncomfortable they are, they do
Sure.
build character. So what have you discovered about yourself that you didn't think that you were capable of?
Well, I think I like the way you put it, that life is a journey, because, so much of what I've learned about myself is that, things that I just sort of assumed would be around forever, that there was maybe an easy solution. You go from bad to good or good to bad, that it's just not like that. And so, one of the things that motivated me to write the book was this feeling that I just had this real anger and resentment and frustration that was just not serving me well, especially in my life with the woman I eventually married. And I think recognizing that, you don't flip a switch. You don't go from a traumatic childhood to a happy-go-lucky two-parent family. It really does take a journey. You have to give yourself a little bit of credit, a little bit of room to breathe. But eventually it is possible to start to, overcome some of those demons of a chaotic childhood. I think that's what I've most taken away from it, is that it's not a direct and perfect transition, right? You take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back and another step back and then 5 steps forward. And I think that understanding and that appreciation came from the process of writing the book and kind of understanding where I came from, who my family was, and how that had influenced and affected me. And I think because of it, frankly, I've got 2 little ones, a happy marriage today, and that's all I really wanted out of my life. So I think I can't take that for granted.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
All right, thank you. Nice to speak with you.
Nice.